Huge market sell-off today, including Marvell. I've got some tips for you, whether you're buying, you're looking to sell, you're holding your stocks, not sure what to do right now with the semi selling off, moving into other directions, moving into other sectors right now. But keep watching, and we're going to go ahead and cover some of these main points for you all, okay? First thing we're going to take a look at is how Marvell performed today, okay? So I've got this chart pulled up right here. Marvell closed at today roughly about $279-ish, right? After hours, they're up about a buck or so. But I mean, just the other day, June 18th, okay, they were at $328 per share. So that's a pretty steep drop right there, roughly close to about $50-ish. And, it's scaring off a lot of folks right now. But let me tell you what, right? It's great. If you're looking to buy, it's an awesome opportunity for you to get in right now. Why? Because fear, right, can create mispricing. And so, I mean, if there's market sell-off, investors often sell first and ask questions later. So strong, I mean, if you think about it, strong companies like Marvell, they're going to get dragged down in a market sell-off like this. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is, I mean, whether you're holding it, whether you're going to be buying Marvell, okay, are the fundamentals strong? And so, I mean, if you're wondering, if you're not sure, right, you got to do some research. You got to take a look into it. And in fact, I've got an article right here that I'm going to read for you all, and it's going to share some of the fundamentals that makes Marvell a fantastic company. Okay, so right here says AI chip stocks take a hit as sector faces broad sell-off. Is this company a buy? Okay, article came out, of course, today. And right here just talks about how the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index dropped 10% in a single session on June 5th, its worst day since March 2020, wiping out about $1.3 trillion market. And that was after Broadcom had missed its AI revenue whisper number by roughly 1.2 billion, uh, which is essentially, I mean, those are things that can affect the broader semiconductor market for sympathy sales. Also, if there were good news, right? I mean, there could be buyers amongst the good news as well. But at the end of the day, I mean, if we take a look right here, Marvell Technology stock price fell 20% over those 2 days. If you were holding a number like that number landed like a punch. So I guess they're talking about, back on June 5th right here. But, at the end of the day, right here says, but the business underneath that number really didn't change at all. Most investors know NVIDIA makes AI chips. Fewer know that Marvell makes the infrastructure that connects them. So if you're not sure what Marvell does, I did a whole video on, what Marvell does and why they could potentially be a good stock to buy right now. Take a look at my video. In fact, you know what? At the end of my video, I'll put it up here or right here somewhere so that you can click on it and watch it. If not, go into my channel, my videos, and you can find it there. Okay. So right here says when hyperscalers like Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft build AI data centers, they need more than just GPUs. They need custom silicon application specific chips designed from the ground up for their particular AI workloads. And they need the networking fabric that moves data between thousands of chipsets speeds that general purpose hardware can't match. Marvell builds both. So speaking of their fundamentals, right? I mean, Marvell has what these large hyperscalers need. And in fact, I mean, they work with NVIDIA, they work with Amazon, they work with Microsoft. Okay, so those Mag 7 companies, the most profitable companies in the world, the most profitable companies for the past several years, they need Marvell. That's the fundamentals right there. Now, I'm going to read right here. It's about Marvell, okay? It's custom ASIC application, which stands for application specific integrated circuit business, is what the company calls its AI XPU platform. These chips designed in a partnership with specific cloud customers, purpose built for their infrastructure. They can't be bought off a shelf. They can't be replicated without years of co-development work. That exclusivity is the moat. You got that? That exclusivity is the moat. At Computex 2026, late in May, Marvell CEO Matt Murphy delivered a keynote titled "The Future of AI Scaling Depends on Connectivity." And NVIDIA CEO, the godfather of AI, Jensen Huang himself, on stage alongside him, called Marvell a potential, the next trillion company. That wasn't throwing a throwaway comment from someone who chooses words carelessly. I think, in my opinion, from what I've seen with Jensen Huang, I mean, he's very intentional about what he says. And if you misquote him, he will correct your quote as well. So, that being said, I mean, I think, of course, the fundamentals for Marvell are intact. I mean, they work with the hyperscalers, greatest customers on the planet. You know, one thing to worry about is that, of course, I mean, what if they're too concentrated on a single hyperscaler for revenue? I mean, that's always an issue. But at the end of the day, okay, when their stocks come down the way that it did, like right here, okay, close to $50 ish just within a few days, okay. At the end of the day, if you look at it this way, for a company with strong fundamentals that are still intact, the valuations become much more attractive. Okay, I mean, I don't know exactly where it was at, but I mean, if it dropped from, say, for example, I don't know, 50x to 40x or 35x price earnings ratio. I mean, that's a good time, good opportunity for you to be able to get in if you wanted to get in as well. Okay, I mean, practically it gives those who wanted to get into the stock access where at certain times, I mean, it wasn't reachable for them. Okay, for example, $328 versus the close of today at 279, right? So at the end of the day, that gives you an opportunity to get in if you're a buyer. Now, if you're a seller, all right, I've got some tips for you. Market declines. What happens? Okay, the wealth transfers practically from the impatient investor over to the patient investor. So you have to remember the cardinal rule, right? At the end of the day, you want to at least get your money back, whatever you put in. So, say for example, if you got in at Marvell at, I don't know, let's say 200 $200, okay, and it dropped to 180, you want to at least kind of wait and be patient in those fearful times for it to climb back over 200 so you can at least get out if you're not comfortable with Marvell anymore. But you got to also remember, right? Why did you get into Marvell at the first place? Why? Because one, the fundamentals were strong. Two, because Marvell is a strong growth company. And three, I mean, they are the future of AI. Jensen Huang said it himself. They're the next $1 trillion company. And when Jensen talks, I mean, I certainly listen. I would say that much. Now, I've got a couple more other tips that are real important for you all as well. But you know what? I have a couple of articles that I want to share with you here as well. Okay, so right here we've got one on Barron's that is titled "Wall Street Buys Staples and Sells Chips, Sending Nasdaq Down to 2%." Right? Remember, when your stocks go down, okay, first you're asking, are the fundamentals strong? Right? We covered that already. Two, is this a broad sell-off or is it affecting only your stock? You got to remember, you got to keep that in mind. Okay, now right here, this article essentially says, hey, NASDAQ fall was mostly driven by a sharp slide in chip stock. Investors sold AI winners, a move that bled even into industrials that have benefited from all the money flowing into the economy for data centers, etc. But, right here as well, okay, the selling began with South Korea's Cosby Composite, which sank nearly 10% on concerns about AI stocks and leverage in the market. Okay, now if you're not aware, okay, why that matters with the South Koreans stock exchange is the fact that Samsung, which and SK Hynix, which makes a lot of the AI memory chips, okay, they essentially make up most of the Korean stock exchange. And so of course, when they sneeze, it hits us as well over here. So just wanted to share that with you guys. You want to keep that in mind, okay? Is that it was a broader sector sell-off, okay? The AI story is obviously still there, but at the same time, I mean, we are affected by the volatility in those other stock exchanges as well. Now, I have Yahoo Finance up too, and it's just because I wanted to read this line for you all right here. What's happening with Marvell? Okay, this is AI generated. Marvell Technology has seen significant growth with 311% surge in stock price over the year, driven by strategic pivot to AI-focused data center solutions. The company recently launched Teralink's T100, a high-capacity switch aimed at AI data centers, while analysts remain optimistic about its long-term growth potential despite recent tech sell-offs. So they have another catalyst. They're still, not gonna be able to out counter or outweather the whole, sector sell-off with the semiconductors. And you know what? I had pulled this up right here to show you all. Okay, so if you take a look at this right here, we have, this is actually industries uh, uh, by sectors, and this is the tech sector. And today, if you take a look at semiconductors, okay, negative 5.85% day return. Okay, so they've been hit pretty hard today. The tech sector, if I back out of this right here, tech sector is down almost 3.5% as well. So I mean, the tech sector as a whole is getting hit hard. Semiconductors, we're talking about in this minus 5.85%. I mean, we're talking about nvidia. Okay, take a look. They got hit today, negative 4%. Okay, we're talking about Broadcom, negative 3%. We're talking about Micron. They got crushed today, negative 13%, right? Marvell, etc. Okay, so they're all, and then of course we got Applied Material. They've mentioned, right? It's bleeding into that industrial area as well. So obviously, okay, um, it's a broad sell-off. And if you're holding on to Marvell, I just want you to be understanding that, hey, every other great company are getting impacted by this as well. So that's, at least that's a sign that it's not just Marvell itself. And then you know what? Lastly, I've got right here another catalyst that did not help Marvell. All right. Bank of America raises Marvell Technology price target to $365. Okay, that is right here. Bank of America raised it from $240 to $365. That's over $125. Okay, and kept it at a buy rating. That means they see huge potential, huge upside in Marvell, and they've been raising Marvell's targets over and over and over and over again. So obviously, okay, going back to the whole point, okay, are the fundamentals strong? Of course, they're there. They have the greatest customers in line, working with them, buying their things for the AI build out. And then, of course, it's a broader number two. It's a broader sector sell off. Number three, we have the Bank of America raised catalyst. We have the T100 deployment from Marvell as a catalyst. They're looking phenomenal right now. And then on top of that, you got to remember, okay, Marvell is a high beta stock. That means that they're a bit volatile. They're going to be jumping up and down. So you be patient, okay? You be patient, and you let that wealth transfer from the impatient over to you. Okay. Now I want to wrap this up with just a few words of wisdom for you all. Okay. So if you think about it, okay, what does this do for you? Okay, when your stock drops down, you're holding Marvell, you came up on a lot of gains, you trusted it, you haven't sold out on it yet, but every time they dip down like this right here, you get a nervous breakdown or something along that line. Excuse me. What does this do for you, right? It exposes you to risk tolerance. That's real, okay? That's going to build a force in you to be able to withstand this. More discipline, okay? That's one thing that I like to tell my friends all the time, okay? Is, you know what, when your stock drops down like this, it forces you to be disciplined. And that's completely true. Why? Because it puts you into a corner where you got to do the right thing, which is to hold on to that stock because it's a great stock like Marvell, and it's a matter of time. It's not if, but when it's going to climb back up to, the price that you bought it at. All right. So for the future, at least with Marvell, I mean, that is the case, and that's probably why you bought Marvell. Now, there's one thing that I want to also mention as well, alongside the discipline point, is that, you know what? It forces you to take on an objective thesis. And what that means is that, you know what? You're going to go back and restudy the fundamentals. You're going to go back and learn more about Marvell. You're going to keep your eye on Marvell. That all ties into your discipline to re-strengthen the thesis that you had before you even bought Marvell. and why you bought Marvell. And that's why, at the end of the day, you remember, you know what, I bought Marvell because they're a darn great company that's going to be excelling through this AI growth for the long term. Okay? That's exactly why you're in this game. And then at the end of the day, right, that patience, okay, your temperament is going to be essentially your competitive edge in this trade. All right? And that's what's going to make you money is your temperament and your patience. Because when Marvell goes to a new all-time high, that's when you'll be you'll remember that your thesis was correct. All right. So hey, at the end of the day, I just wanted to provide you guys some information, data that I shared with you guys, some articles. Okay. At the end of the day, right, keep being patient. Okay, remember why you got into the Marvell stock, and then on top of that, I mean, remember the AI growth is a long-term story. Okay, I mean, sure, yeah, you might be, hit for a day or maybe a week or maybe a month. Okay, but you know what? At the end of the day, you have to remember. Okay, it's if you're a retail investor, which I assume you are because you're watching me, and I am myself. Right at the end of the day, right, we don't have to report to our clients. We don't have to report to these wealthy investors that we're managing their fund and stuff like that on a regular basis. Okay, we're taking care of our own investments and what's best for us, which is going to be the long term. And you've got a long runway. Just keep that in mind. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching. Again, right, I've got a couple different items on Marvell. I'm going to put the videos up here if you'd like to learn more about Marvell. Drop into the comments if you got any questions. Drop into the comment if you have anything that you'd like to share as well. Give me a like and click that subscribe button for me. Take care. Thank you. And hey, make it a great day.